The Kuki people are an indigenous group primarily residing in the mountainous regions of northeastern India and northwestern Myanmar. Known for their rich cultural heritage and strong sense of identity, the Kukis have long inhabited these lands, maintaining their unique traditions and way of life. The Kukis are ethnically and linguistically related to the Chin people of Myanmar, forming part of a larger Tibeto-Burman language family. Despite their shared roots, the Kukis are not a monolithic group. They comprise numerous sub-tribes, each with its distinct dialect, customs, and history. Their resilience and determination in the face of adversity remain a testament to their enduring spirit.
The Kuki people in Myanmar predominantly inhabit the Chin state, a rugged and mountainous region bordering India. This area, characterized by its dense forests, steep hills, and fertile valleys, has provided a home to the Kukis for generations. However, the Kuki territory in Myanmar is not a clearly defined entity. It overlaps with the territories of other ethnic groups, including the Chin, the Naga, and the Meitei, leading to complex inter-ethnic relations and competition for resources. The Kuki areas in Myanmar lack basic infrastructure and development. Roads are scarce and often impassable, healthcare facilities are limited, and access to education is a challenge. Despite these challenges, the Kukis have strived to maintain their cultural identity and traditional way of life.
In the face of ongoing threats to their security and autonomy, the Kookie people have formed their own armed groups, most notably the Kookie Army. This armed wing, operating primarily in the Chin state of Myanmar, emerged as a response to perceived injustices and the need to protect Kookie interests. The Kookie Army's tactics often involve guerrilla warfare, utilizing their knowledge of the terrain to their advantage. They operate in small mobile units, launching surprise attacks and then melting back into the jungle. While the Kookie Army presents itself as a defender of the Kookie people, its activities have also been controversial. Accusations of human rights abuses, extortion, and involvement in the drug trade have been leveled against the group, complicating the narrative surrounding their struggle.
The concept of a separate Kookie state, encompassing Kookie-inhabited areas in both India and Myanmar, has been a long-standing aspiration for many Kookies. This dream of self-determination, fueled by a desire for greater autonomy and control over their own destiny, has driven Kookie nationalism for decades. Proponents of a Kookie state argue that it would allow the Kookie people to preserve their culture, language, and traditional way of life, free from the perceived domination of other ethnic groups. However, the path to a Kookie state is fraught with obstacles. The idea faces strong opposition from the governments of India and Myanmar, who view it as a threat to their territorial integrity and national unity. The dream of a Kookie state remains a powerful symbol of Kookie aspirations, but the realization of this vision requires overcoming significant political and logistical challenges.
Section 5. The Kuki-Meitei Conflict, a struggle for survival. The Kuki-Meitei conflict is a long-standing and deeply rooted ethnic conflict that has plagued the region for decades. The conflict, primarily centered in the Indian state of Manipur, but with spillover effects into Myanmar, stems from historical grievances, competition for land and resources, and a struggle for political power. The Meitei, who are predominantly Hindu and reside in the Imphal Valley of Manipur, have historically held political and economic dominance in the state. The Kukis, who are mostly Christian and live in the surrounding hills, have long felt marginalized and discriminated against by the Meitei-dominated government. The conflict has witnessed numerous cycles of violence, characterized by killings, arson, displacement, and human rights abuses on both sides. Addressing the root causes of the conflict, promoting dialogue and reconciliation, and ensuring justice for the victims are crucial steps towards building lasting peace in the region.
Section 6. The Myanmar junta, a shadowy player. The Myanmar military, known as the Tatmadaw, has long played a shadowy role in the Kookie-Meitei conflict, exploiting the situation to further its own interests. The junta, which seized power in a coup in February 2021, has a history of using divide-and-rule tactics to maintain control over the country's diverse ethnic groups. In the context of the Kookie-Meitei conflict, the Tatmadaw has been accused of providing arms and support to both sides, fueling the violence and exacerbating tensions. By keeping the conflict simmering, the junta benefits from the instability, justifying its grip on power and undermining any potential for ethnic unity against its rule. The Tatmadaws' involvement in the conflict has also had devastating consequences for civilians. The international community has condemned the Tatmadaws' role in the conflict, calling for an end to the violence and a return to democratic rule in Myanmar.
Section 7. The Battle for Kuki State. Recent clashes and implications. Recent clashes between the Kookie Army and the Meitei armed groups have intensified, raising concerns about a wider escalation of the conflict. These clashes, often sparked by disputes over land, resources, or perceived provocations, highlight the fragility of the situation and the ever-present potential for violence to erupt. The use of increasingly sophisticated weaponry, including improvised explosive devices and assault rifles, indicates a dangerous escalation in the conflict. The involvement of transnational criminal networks, who exploit the porous borders and the lack of governance in the region to traffic drugs, arms, and people, further complicates the situation. These clashes have resulted in significant casualties on both sides, with civilian communities bearing the brunt of the violence. The recent clashes underscore the urgent need for a negotiated settlement to the conflict.
Section 8. The future of the Kuki people. Challenges and opportunities. The future of the Kuki people in Myanmar remains uncertain, marked by both challenges and opportunities. The ongoing conflict, the lack of development, and the political instability in the country pose significant obstacles to their well-being and aspirations. The displacement caused by the conflict, coupled with the loss of livelihoods and access to education, threatens to create a lost generation of Kuki youth, vulnerable to recruitment by armed groups or exploitation by criminal networks. However, amidst these challenges, opportunities for positive change exist. The growing international awareness of the Kuki struggle, coupled with the increasing pressure on the Myanmar junta to end the violence and engage in dialogue, provides a glimmer of hope. The resilience and determination of the Kuki people, their strong sense of community, and their rich cultural heritage are valuable assets that can contribute to their future well-being.
Section 9. Conclusion. A call for peace and understanding. The Kuki people's story is one of resilience, struggle, and the enduring pursuit of self-determination. The ongoing conflict, the human rights abuses, and the displacement of innocent civilians demand a concerted effort from all stakeholders to find a lasting solution. The international community must amplify the voices of the Kuki people, ensuring that their plight is not forgotten and that those responsible for the violence are held accountable. A future where the Kuki people can live in peace, security, and dignity is within reach, but it requires a commitment to dialogue, reconciliation, and the equitable sharing of power and resources.